Start thinking now of what you could launch within 6 months or a year of that date and start building it. And then, we have the stage here ready for great companies to do 2.0. That's why we created this sort of additional competition. So an existing company, a new product. Okay, next up is a company that I know David Sachs will really like, and it's right up Yammer's alley. It's called 15Five.
Meet Sandeep. Sandeep is the star salesperson at a company called Retargeter right here in San Francisco. Unfortunately, he's thinking about leaving the company because he's really frustrated at work. Today's Thursday, which means it's his day to do his weekly 15Five report. Now, here we go. Great. Okay, the first thing he sees is just a short list of questions. Now, I've worked with dozens of executive teams over the past 5 years and found out that if you ask nothing else, if you just ask these 4 questions, you'll get a real sense for the pulse of what's going on in your company. So he shares something that's going well in his role. In this case, he just closed a big new deal this week. Now, the reports are designed to take no more than 15 minutes to write and no more than 5 minutes for his manager to read, hence the name 15Five. So he can get through these really fast. Here he shares a good idea. And he also shares one thing that's not going well. In this case, he's extremely frustrated that his deals keep getting held up by the legal department. And it's not the first time he's reported this, but his frustration has now gotten to the point where he's seriously considering leaving the company. He completes the report and submits, and he's done for the week. Now Sandeep's manager, John, logs in. Now, John happens to be away on a 1-month paternity leave, but 15Five is really easy. He can check in real quick and see what's going on with his team. Now, John actually gets hundreds of emails a day, as most people do. And so before 15Five, he used to have to comb through his entire email inbox to find his employees' reports, track down the 1 or 2 people who didn't submit them, then copy and paste to summarize his team's activity for the CEO. It was torture and took so much time. So John loves seeing that his reports are all right here in one place. And what he really loves is that he gets a lot less email. So he jumps in, he doesn't have much time, he clicks Review All Reports. Now, here's where the magic happens. John needs to both review his employees' feedback and write a report to the CEO and wants to do it as quickly as possible. So he scans the report. He congratulates his Sandeep on a good job with the sale. And he also asks a question about one of the points here. Then he sees the issue that Sandeep's having with legal. So he decides to flag that, which will roll that up to the CEO. And he marks reviewed, and he's right into the next employee. So as he scans each employee's report, he's looking for the key highlights, looking to provide feedback, and he simply flags the items that are important, and he's building his report as he goes. So now John is blazing through his reviews, and he's getting some really great insights, because one of the things that 15Five does so well is it removes that face-to-face intimidation factor that his employees sometimes feel, and he likes that it gives them a chance to reflect and not feel like they're put on the spot. So now he's done. He's managed to get through his whole sales team in just a few minutes, saving him hours a week in doing one-on-ones and meetings. He decides to complete his report to his manager, the CEO. All the points that he reviewed and flagged are right here in his report, and he just has to add a few key thoughts. Now again, this should only take him 15 minutes to write and no more than 5 minutes for his manager to read, the CEO, including all the insights from the entire team. Once he's done with the feedback, he simply submits his report. He's done. He can get back to his family. Finally, our CEO, Arjun, logs in. Now, Arjun's away at South by Southwest. He's launching a new product, and so he doesn't have much time. Wants to check in and make sure there's no issues with the company. So he dives right into the sales team. And the first thing he sees, great news. He congratulates the team on some of the sales from this week. Now, Arjun loves the fact that with no effort and coordination on his part, he now has a complete overview of his entire company that started with his frontline employees and rolled right up through his managers. Now he sees the issue with the legal issue that's come to a head, decides he has to act, so he comments to let both Sandeep and John know that he's going to take care of this next week. Now, little does he know, he's just saved his key salesperson from leaving the company by letting him know that he's resolving his issue. And not only that, Sandeep now feels heard and is much more likely to contribute going forward at the company. So seeing no more issues, he decides to mark that reviewed. He logs out of 15.5 for the week, and now he can get back to his conference with the peace of mind that there's nothing going on at the company that he needs to be concerned with. So that's 15.5. And I have one quick thing to announce. Are we up? So we've just launched the 15.5 website. If you would like to make a huge impact on your company, go to 15five.com. That's 15five.com. You can register for an invitation. And for the first 50 people who register with the code LAUNCH2012, we'll be offering priority access as we start to roll out invitations. Thank you very much.
Okay. So, David, when I first saw this, I saw shades of Yammer and the sort of promise of increased communication, making enterprises better. What did you think when you were watching it? And while you're getting your microphone fixed, I'll just ask for a quick survey. How many people wish that this product had been used at one of their last companies or their current company? How many people wish they had that product? Good, that's about a third of the folks. And so, David, what did you think when you watched that?
Yeah, I liked it. The aspect of it that's a little bit like Yammer is I can see the virality. You know, you fill out a report, you then submit it to your boss. In the process, you know, your boss would be invited. That person would then invite their reports. I can see it kind of fanning out through the org chart. Mm-hmm. I like the roll-ups. I'd like to understand the roll-ups a little bit better. Does that happen automatically, or what? How does that work? It's just basically all of my reports' answers to that question appear there automatically under mine. Is that the idea?
Yeah, so as you review the reports, not everything, but anything you flag, then when you go to do your own report, those will be rolled up. Now, the CEO, what I didn't show you is the CEO can always drill down and see any employee in the company if they have the time.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so as many levels as you want.
That's right.
You roll it. Okay.
And how we separate it by day of the week. So maybe the first group will report on Wednesday, and that's their day. And then the managers might log in on Thursday, so we have that separation.
And can I create my own questions, my own form?
Oh, yeah.
Essentially?
Yeah.
Okay.
We recommend those questions. They work well in most situations, but you can delete them all out, put your own in, have sales-specific questions or individual-specific questions as well.
Yeah, so we have a review process in our company with sort of defined questions like that, but no one ever does it because it's offline. So if we could move that and sort of define our own form and push that through the organization, we would definitely, I think, use that.
Does Yammer have an API where 15.5 could plug in their services to it?
Yeah, so that's another thing that I think would be worth doing. So so we have Yammer Connect, which is like Facebook Connect. You know, someone just logs in with their Yammer account, and you would have their profile information, their photo, and their org chart.
Wow.
So you'd have all of their reports right away, and we'd give you the email addresses for their reports. So you could basically, if someone logs in using Yammer Connect, it'd be like one click inviting to all of their reports and their boss. And then when they complete a new form, that would post an activity story back to the Yammer feed, just like, you know, on Facebook, if someone, you know, is listening to music on Spotify or something, it publishes a story back to the ticker. So that's something that could help you guys really jumpstart your virality inside companies.
Yeah.
Sandeep, your firm has hundreds of mobile developers. I'm sure you're looking at this going, why isn't this a mobile app?
Yeah, well, I mean, not only that, but I think just to David's point is, you know, we'd love to try this, I mean, kind of ASAP, so I'll get a code from you, but beyond that, sort of, if you don't have your org chart in Yammer, is there a way to get a bunch of people into the system without having someone go in and add hundreds of employees manually?
Yeah, so we started out that way, and so with the 20-some odd companies we're working with now, it was manual, but we're just about to roll out a new process next week where any one person can come into the company. I think Yammer did something similar to this, and you can say, here's my manager, here's my employees, and it just starts with that subgroup. And then when they log in, they're asked for the same connections.
Got it. Yeah. And then, my second question would be, you know, in today's mobile age, you want to find an easy way to, people do this in their spare time, some on tablet app or iPhone app. You guys have anything
We've actually got a bunch of people doing it on the iPhone, and it works well. We've made sure the interface works for that, and I mean the iPad. And but yeah, I think a mobile app makes a lot of sense.
So I guess the main thing I would ask is, so clearly writing weekly reports or monthly reports suck, reviewing them suck, right? So we get that.
Yep.
So the notion of actually delivering this as a service, so part of my job is running a sales team. So I've got 16 people wandering around selling a whole bunch of tools.
Yeah.
We already have a defined process, right? But this is much more lightweight. It adds a bunch of color to that. We'd love to integrate it. So is there an extensible API to this, or is it just the web right now?
Not yet, but once we'll definitely go that direction. I think it makes a lot of sense.
Is there a limitation on the amount of response somebody can give in the way Twitter limits us to 140 characters?
Currently,
to keep it
no.
15.5?
You know, it's really something that we've considered. There are some people who write a novel, and rather than control that right now, it's actually the CEOs who use it look at that and say, well, if they're doing that in this report, where are they doing that elsewhere? And it's actually an indication for them to maybe have a conversation with them about, brevity.
Got it. So David, when you see this company, do you just think this is a perfect Techstars company?
So the Techstars
Or
companies,
for your new $28 million fund, which you launched yesterday. Congratulations on that. Everybody knows David Cohen is the founder of Techstars, which is one of the most successful accelerators in the history of the space. And he raised a $28 million fund yesterday to invest in.
yeah, I did it all yesterday.
all in one day. But is the 28 million, just for clarity, that's for Techstars companies and also other companies?
Yeah, targeting about half of it towards Techstars and half not.
Congratulations on that.
Actually, our companies use a similar product that I won't mention to sort of report up to their investors. So there's broad
interesting.
applications. I think Naval ought to buy this right away.
Yeah.
Because this would be a great fit into AngelList. So it's applicable much more broadly besides just inside a corporation. So nicely done product.
Thank you.
How oversubscribed would 15.5 be on AngelList in the next 15 minutes?
I think it's got to launch, obviously, and get out there. It's one of those things that you want to see how it grows. I like David's observation that it would spread very much like Yammer did. We're obviously a small organization internally, but we use Yammer for everything. It's our backbone internally, and I would love to have it integrated nicely with Yammer, so if somebody puts up a point on Yammer that I don't like this or that I can flag it,
And that
I
would
can
go into the
archive it, I
report.
can push it into there. And I think that I don't want to sound like a sales ad for Yammer because the CEO's down over there. But they've got millions of users. They've got an API. Nobody seems to be taking advantage of it. And what the API gives you is the authentication plus the org charts together.
Yes.
And the org chart is core to what you do because it's got to ripple up and down.
That's right.
So I think you could play Zynga to their Facebook.
That would be great. I'd love to have a chat with you about that after.
Yeah, definitely.
David, would Yammer invest in the company? Does Yammer invest in some of these small startups, or would you personally invest in the company when you're looking at it? Would you like to have a further conversation like that? Or conversely, would you like to, as a third option, buy the company right now?
Yeah, well, we did just raise $85 million, but I don't know how our VCs would feel about us becoming VCs.
Right.
But I do some angel investing as an individual, and I would definitely be interested in talking to them about that.
Great. Awesome. Let's hear it for 15.5. Well done.
Thank you.